Hello, and thank you for accepting this interview request, Laura. And I'm really pleased to have you here. And as we talk about already, we're going to talk about self love. So I think it's best that you introduce yourself, who you are, and what do you do. So, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Self love is my passionate topic, self care and self love. I see them as co creative, they're one and the same. And my name is Lynne Dyer. I'm Treehouse Wise Woman on the Magic Land. And I say Magic Land because I'm following a vision I had in 2002 when I was up on the bluffs of this river, and I just closed my eyes and I said, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be? It was kind of a surrender time.
Wow.
And when I did that, as I closed my eyes, it was like I was lifted up and I was looking down on land and Mother Nature and animals and people and organic gardens and just a sense of community and oneness that I had never experienced. I grew up in the city, so that wasn't my normal life. And really from that day forward until I found the land in 2007, I was searching to find the energetic vibrational match for what I saw in that vision. And that's where I live now on 70 acres. I built a 2-story tree house, which I do coaching in that tree house, and people from all around the country come and stay. In the times in between, I'm coaching couples or individuals or doing masterminds in the treehouse. Then people can rent out the treehouse. In fact, I just had a couple
I
from
should visit
LA.
that.
Yeah, isn't that fabulous? I had a couple from LA who were originally from India who flew from LA to my exciting little town in Grubville, Missouri, just to stay in the treehouse over the weekend.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah.
I'm really already fascinated about it. Okay,
It's
so
a great space.
yeah, definitely I can guess it.
Yeah.
I want to understand, like, I am also a journey to discover this for myself. And I think I am somewhere in the way that I can feel now this oneness, the wholeness of my being. I can understand my connection with the nature. When I see an animal, I feel that this being is here for a purpose, and so am I. So, like, it's a very deep connection which cannot be described in words. So I'm finding and trying to find out how to describe so people can understand this, because this is something beyond dictionary. I cannot express it, but let's say I call it consciousness or awareness. So I want to understand what why did you choose to go in that field, and why you are so focused only in one element. I have checked your website, I've seen your card, so we'll talk about it in the coming session. But I want to understand why this. Why did you choose? What made you realize that you want to do this, and why people should choose this?
I love the question because sometimes our why comes in a way that we hadn't anticipated.
Yes.
We often follow, I grew up in suburbia.
Okay.
My environment was probably not too atypical. My father was an alcoholic, kind of ran the show of the house. We all bowed down to dad. And therefore, my mom was a yes addict and taught me how to be a yes addict. It was always, how can we make him happy? How do we make everybody happy? We're supposed to give. That's the loving thing to do, is just give, give, give. Say yes to everyone, say yes to everything. And I did that for years and years and years and couldn't figure out why I wasn't happy. And in that giving, I didn't even know the place I was giving from.
Okay.
And I lost myself completely to where I just didn't even know who I was or where to begin to find me. And sometimes those deep, dark journeys lead us in places that we didn't anticipate we were going to go, because, you know, we're told we're supposed to be, aren't you supposed to be a salesperson, or supposed to be this, or should you be a teacher, should be a doctor, a lawyer? And there's all these labels and names for what's appropriate for our identity.
Yes.
And yet there's this part of us that is innately tuned in to that consciousness that you're talking about. And I love the word consciousness because it's label-less most of the time. People don't have a reaction to that as terms of a religious or what that means. It's more generic.
Yeah.
So we could talk about it in a way that's more open and people can hear. So for me, in losing myself, it was really my journey to discovering that spiritual alignment or that consciousness. And I was in such a deep, dark place that I was really surrendering to the place of asking moment by moment. Now, I didn't know essentially the who or what, but it was, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? And in doing that, eventually I started hearing, because my goal was, if there's something out there, whatever the thing is, or whatever my inner connection is, I want to hear it. I want to know it. I want to be so in alignment with it that there isn't this chaos and confusion. And I started hearing. And that hearing was, turn left, call this person, do this. Now, these are things that many, many people have, and they don't always listen to. And that was, actually, I had read a book back in '98. It's called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And it's a spiritual guide to uncovering your higher creativity. Yep. And it really challenged a lot of my religious beliefs, a lot of concepts that I had. And it blew open the doors on the little box that I had growing up, the religious box. You have to do this, you have to say that. And that's really where I found that consciousness. And in that consciousness, my innate desire was to always stay in alignment with that sense of peace. Now, I had a ways to go before my outer world aligned with my inner world. Yeah. And I think that's part of what you're talking about. The journey is, how do we manifest on the outside maybe some of those touch points that we feel. My goal my whole life was, I just wanted to feel peaceful. And when I got a taste of it, a little teeny tiny taste of it, I went, I want more than a second of that. I want 2 seconds of peace. And so that's been the mission. And people have always innately been drawn to me in terms of opening up. And I didn't realize when I was 5 that I was an intuitive empath, and that I could tune into people and I could see things and hear things and understand things. Yeah. And so being a life coach was just an organic part of my own alignment. Yeah. And being able to be there for other people on that journey. Yeah. To bring them, it's not my job to bring them into alignment, but really it's to move the things off of people, because we're these spiritual beings. We came in enchanted and incredible and amazing and enlightened, you know, and then we come into these meat suits and we go, what, I'm supposed to do what with it? You know, you look at babies and you go, wow, you know, that's pure consciousness right there. That's true. So I think and I know you're a coach too, so a lot of what we do is just move the things off of people so they can remember. They can remember who they are. And that's been my life mission, is to really stay in alignment with myself at all times, under all circumstances, which I don't always do, but it's my mission. And in doing that, that just has a radiance that people are drawn to, not because I'm trying to be somebody. Yep. So people are drawn to me. I'm just trying to stay here and
Yeah.
those who feel aligned, then feel called and connected on that journey.
Yeah, I can totally relate to it actually. Although I am very young for this, I don't know I'm young or where I am in my journey, but I'm from India and we are told always like what to be, a doctor, or engineer, or a lawyer, or we are always told to whom to marry or whom to listen, how you respect your elder. We are told, always told. And I never certainly have time to listen to my inner self, never. So when I left home in back in 2007, I have a lot of time to think about myself. But at that moment, I do not know like what I want. I just proceeded the path which was given to me. I did it well, but it was until 2013, 14 when I came to understand, no, I'm much more than that. Because I always knew that my capabilities are much more than what I'm doing today. And that's where I decided, okay, I will go on this journey and I will truly try to understand what I want because I really want to live with what I actually am, what I'm truly am. So thank you for sharing this. But I have a question from your explanation on this. You start with giving, and this is the same thing which happened to me, or it happened to most of Indian. At early age, we started to give, 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 give. But a lot of people consider giving as an act of self-love. Yeah. So what do you say about that?
I say that when we are spiritually aligned, when we're practicing self-care, I've invented a self-care system that is so powerful and exciting. I'm really excited to share it with you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And and the idea is that when we're practicing self-care, we are conscious of our capacity for giving.
Okay.
If and when I stopped taking care of myself, and what happened was that I was in a situation where I was just saying yes to everybody. I had people who came and stayed on the land. They were wonderful, good friends. It was a couple, and they would camp out by the lake. We have a 3-acre lake. And in the morning, they would come in and they'd make breakfast in my house. And then, well, they might take a nap on the couch. And then maybe they were working out something in their relationship, so they needed me to coach them. Well, my office was in the main room of my house.
Okay.
And this went on not for a day or a week or a month, but for a year. And I never said, could you get out of my house? Because I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't even get lined up. You know, I normally journal in the mornings and really just stay in alignment for listening to what I am to do that day. And as this started coming up, I felt really bad because I had two fears. And one of my fears was that if I said, you know what, I need some time alone, that they would think I didn't love them. And that was tragic to me.
So
Because it wasn't true. I did love them.
Yes, yes, and I completely get it. But I want you to tell people what's the message you give about giving. Like I believe you cannot give what you do not have. Certainly cannot.
Yes.
Whether it is money, whether it is your time, whether it is your love, whatever it is. What's your message to people who believe that giving is almost equal to love, and we need compassion, we need empathy, and so many people do it for the sake of just doing without realizing that maybe they're harming themselves.
And that's so true. And the reason I tell the story is because I was giving to the point of harming. I was not blessing them. I was not blessing me. And so it wasn't until there was that I had to say, stop. I can't give to you anymore, because I got on overload. And she said, well, let me just tell me what you need, what your problem is, and I'll tell you how to fix it. I'll tell you what you need to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've given myself away. You know, my giving has created this tragic thing. So I had to shut myself down and really go inward to say, what is it I need right now to take care of myself?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to eat.
Yes.
When I eat, then I've got this energy and this life force energy. And when I'm listening spiritually or in tune with that greater consciousness, then I can be aware on when it's appropriate to give to you or not. Because sometimes my greatest gift to you is to say, I'm available at 7 tonight, and I will be there 100% with my complete presence and consciousness for you and with you. And right now, there's a baby chick that's just fallen off the deck, and I'm going to go get the baby chick.
I have this experience, like one of my client was asking me why I can't give, and I explained this. And he was saying, Mother Teresa gave all his life, and Mahatma Gandhi gave all his life. And I just answer the same, that they were aligned, they were spiritually fulfilled. They choose to give. They was not forced to give to anybody. They chose, they made a conscious decision that they understood that that's how they will find the true happiness of their being, the fulfillment. And if you are doing for the sake of others, then you are basically deceiving yourself. So yeah, thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, you're spot on. And I think when you look at, Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa, what were they doing when they weren't giving?
Yes.
They were meditating. They were praying. They were staying conscious of where did they need to go to Calcutta? Did they need to say this? How to, their journeys were such, and the environments they had to go through, they were checking in. That's why they had such a powerful life. If they were just on a random give, their impact would not have been the same. And it really is so difficult. And you're absolutely right. That intersection where it goes from self-care to self-love, we're not taught that.
Yes.
Self-care is tragic.
Yes.
They're like, what? You? So I'd love to share my system if you're open.
Yes. Yeah. Before that, I have a quick question, that whether self-love is only for women or is for both men and women.
I think I love that question. Yeah. I love that question because bless men's heart. Men have been so trained to be these doers. We have to do, and it's true probably in a lot of different cultures that you are supposed to be the provider, you're the breadwinner, you're the one in charge of everything. And there's a tremendous amount of pressure to be a doer. And in being a doer, you're really not always practicing self-love and self-care. In being a beer, when we're being who we are, then we know exactly how to provide. Now, that provide may not look like what the universe says. Yes. I moved to 70 acres. I've got 70 animals. I built a tree house. Wow. I live I drive a tractor. I use a chainsaw to cut up wood. I didn't know this was going to be my life, but I'm so in alignment with what works for me. Not everybody would want that. And so men absolutely need it. And I think our society we're so confused about the roles of the feminine and the masculine. And I'm going to say energy instead of people, because we all have feminine and masculine energy. Exactly. And so I feel so compassionate for men, because where's the place for your self-care chair? Do you have one? And that's a lot of what I do when I first start working is like, yeah, where's your place? Where's your sacred space that you go to be quiet or journal or meditate or read or whatever your practice is? Mm-hmm. And that self-care chair is yours only. Yeah. And so if you're in a family, if you're married or have children, then I encourage everyone to have their own self-care chair. You don't sit in my self-care chair. I won't sit in your self-care chair. We're not going to, the kids have their own space, because that sacredness invites us to go into self-care. And then therefore, that's when we realize we're valuable enough in being able to speak our truth. Because if I'm doing self-care, I know my capacities. Absolutely am tuned in. So it's not just women, you know, it's men too. Yeah.
Okay, so if I would ask your permission to show what you have to offer,
Yes.
how people can really understand what self-love is and what the system can do for people, please present it.
Wonderful. And are you open for me to ask you a few questions?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. So this system was obviously created around my own torturing of not being able to speak up, not really knowing where I was and how to take care of myself. And I had to start at the basic level. So I came up with this system, and they are self-care cards. There's 6 cards in the deck, and I call it the Red Dragon system. So I'm just gonna stick that a little closer. Red Dragon self-care cards. When you do a download, you actually get a sheet of them with the instructions on the back and front. Because this is hard to little mail with a little zip tie. So the front of the card really first gets you to pause, because in self-care or self-love, we have to be aware of who we are in our connection. So I'm going to ask you first a broad question, because there's 3 questions in here. And the first one is, how do you feel?
Perfect, fine. I'm happy.
Okay. Beautiful. So perfect, fine, happy. So that's, you know, like a general broad sweeping question. So it gets us to stop and ask. And the next question, what we do is we rate these on a 0, meaning blah, to a 4, meaning great.
Okay.
And we check in. We do a very specific check-in. So we check in and we say, how is your body? So you just stop and you scan your entire body, and on a 0 to 4, where would you rate where you are?
Okay.
And you can answer this. I'm asking you if you want to participate. So how would you rate that?
If I tell you generally about this, like if I go into every area of different life, then I can maybe have a different answer. But if I give you an overall picture, I think I would say in happiness, I am 3. In fulfillment, I think I am 4. Because
I'm gonna pause you a second, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a check-in on your body, on your mind, on your emotions, and on your soul. So it's a 4-part check-in.
Okay.
And we first start with our body.
Okay.
On a 0 to 4, how's your body?
I think I am well-muscled man. Take care of myself, so I would say 4.
4, perfect. And sometimes it could be, you know, like I've been moving tons of firewood, so my back's kind of sore. My back may be sore, but I may still be a 4.
I take care of myself very well. So
excellent. So we know that. Okay, so then we check in and we move to your mind. So how is your mind doing? Is it racing? Is it foggy? Does it feel clear? On a 0 to 4.
I think I'm 3, because I'm very centered man, very focused man. When I do something, I'm purely into it. My mind, if wander, I know how to bring it back. But I'm not at the best at it at the moment. But I'm 3, I think. Definitely.
Perfect. Yeah. And then how about emotionally, when you scanned everything in the world on a 0 to 4 on where you are emotionally? Where are you?
Emotionally, I think there are things in my life which make me wonder and create different emotions, but I'm very good at controlling emotion. Like, you'll never see me angry. You'll never see me jealous. You'll never see me feeling bad about my life, whether it was a bad incident in my past or something wrong is going on. So my emotional stability is very good. And in fact, my old friends and my family wants to learn from me, how do you do that? So I would go for in this area because I'm really good in emotion, better than mind actually. Because my emotion is my power. I can create, like if I'm feeling sad for something, quickly I can create happiness and gratefulness. I knows that I know the tricks and techniques to do that. The trigger-based technique, the gratefulness. Just put your heart on your hand on heart and just be grateful about your life, and it can change you like in a second, in a moment. So I think I'm very good in it. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. And I love also the description that you gave with that, because if you and I were connecting on anything, in this case we're talking, but in this system what we do first is we check in, we say, where are you?
Okay.
And so that when we come together we get a sense of where somebody is. And because you're so clear in your communication in that, I have a much better sense of how we can connect.
I'm
And
already
how
doing it.
you're fabulous. And so then the last one is your soul or your spirit, however you want to name it. So
Yeah.
when you tune into that on a 0 to 4, where would you be?
Oh, it's a very difficult question. Uh, Tell me, what do you mean by soul? Like I see soul as me. I do not separate my soul and myself in my mind. I do not separate these two things. I believe I am, as I told you, consciousness. So everything is one. So I do not separate it. So how do you mean by when you say soul? Like what should I answer here exactly?
Good question.
Yeah.
Soul is a kind of a broad sweeping, and it's exactly what you're talking about. It's your consciousness, your alignment, your some people might call it their heart, different than their emotions.
Okay.
It's your how tuned in you feel to your environment around you, your sense of awareness. So
Uh-huh.
it's that consciousness.
Okay.
Um,
Understood.
the soul, I think, because when you're spanning, the reason I chose the word soul instead of how you're doing spiritually or religious, because there's this system is designed to be worldwide.
Yeah.
Does that answer it?
Yeah, yeah. I will tell you about this. I have an incident. I got a car accident, and in that accident, you will not believe I have a out of body experience. So I wrote this in about this in my book. I feel like I came out of my body and looking at from our outside world. And in my coaching practice, I do that a lot. I ask people to close your eyes and imagine that you step out of your body and you look at it and what you're feeling. What do you see? What kind of person you're looking at? It gives me a good frame of what they think about themselves. But yeah, I have this experience. And now I'm in a journey to understand this connection of oneness. So like when I go to park, I touch the grass and I feel how it make me feel. It's a life. I understand what I exhale, tree inhale. There is a connection between me and trees. Like we are connected. All animals or insects serve a purpose of a whole connection. If one bee, like let's say bees dies, we also die. That's it. So there is a connection. There is a cycle. So I can say I'm much more connected compared to normal average person, but I wouldn't say I'm four. I'm not that enlightened yet. Maybe I do not believe in nirvana and all. I believe it's here because that experience was something I can still remember. I can feel that that it is one. Everything is one. So yeah, but okay, I do not want to talk about it later. Maybe I will choose some time. But yeah, I think I'm still working on it. But when I touch water, I feel what water is. Before before I used to look at things like how I can use them. Now I think about how I'm connected to it, how I'm connected to nature, how I'm connected to the people, other people. I feel the energy of people, like when they're walking. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel bad. Now I'm into the stage where I don't want to judge whether something is good or bad. I want to accept the world as it is. So it's a challenging role because we are programmed to judge everything. You know, in school you give them rank, then grades, then how your sports performance is. In companies they give you promotion based on your, like, everything is judged. So it's very hard to not to judge things. And I'm trying to do that separation of judgment and come to alignment to accept how the world is, whether it is bad or good. It has its own place. Without good, bad does not exist. Without light, darkness has no meaning. Without darkness, light has no meaning. There is a connection, wholeness. So I'm trying to do this, but I would say 2.5.
I love that. And some people,
Because I'm
after just
more
hearing
than
you,
50%, definitely.
some people after just hearing you would say, "Oh my gosh, he's a 4. He's actually a 5." You know, because of how far you've come on your journey of understanding that. So thank you for doing that part. So that's step 1, and step 2 of the Red Dragon system is just doing a check-in. Now you did a really, thank you for being so thorough. Sometimes this is done just kind of in a split second. Where am I physically? Where am I mentally? Where am I emotionally? Where's my soul?
Yeah.
You know, because we don't always have time. And somebody may say, "Hey, do you want to be in charge of this committee or run whatever this is?" And you got to be able to check in and go, "Where am I right now?"
Yeah.
And so what's different about this system is that it is not a system that says, "Oh, well, then you pick the feeling you have and show the card." What's different about this system is based on everything you just shared.
Okay.
We're checking your availability
Wow.
to be with other people.
Yeah.
So the first card, and there's 3 primary cards for that. And the first card is Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Red Dragon is, I'd like to be quiet and alone. And I drew the little characters. They're meant to be fun and playful and lighthearted.
Okay.
Children down to 3 years old get this system.
Nice.
And so in checking in, you're able to say, am I in a place right now where I really need to be quiet and alone?
Okay.
In this case, you and I are talking. I'm Red Dragon to the rest of the world because I'm giving you my full attention.
Okay.
So a family that was using Liz, a little girl who was 4, who was always, whenever her dad would get on the phone, "Daddy, daddy, daddy, daddy." She said, "Oh, Daddy, when you're on the phone, you're in Red Dragon." He was like, "Oh, heavenly." The next card is Yellow Turtle.
Okay.
Yellow Turtle is, I'd like to be quiet, and I still want to be with you. I still want to be together. Introverts are often Yellow Turtle.
Okay.
People who are often in that really Zen space and they're just observing and watching are in Yellow Turtle. They're fine to be with people. It's not the time to say, "How are you? What's going on? What have you been up to?" Because they're not really available for that.
Yeah.
And the third card in the description is Green Chicken. Green Chicken is, I want to talk, I want to be together, I want to be social, I want to be connected. Now you can be in, yeah, that's where we are. You can be in any emotional state and be in one of those 3. So it could be that something came up that maybe triggered me and I want to navigate that. I could still be in Green Chicken. Okay. Or it could be that something came up and it was really challenging for me and I really want to be together, but I don't feel like talking right now. Or it could be that, oh, it's like, I've got to process this. I can't figure it out. So I may go in Red Dragon. Okay. And the idea is that you're able to say quickly when you check in. So I have people that live on the land. I had a roommate that lived with me. So I've been test marketing this for 2 years. Okay. Everybody in your pod, in your family, in your organization gets a set of cards. Okay. And the first thing in the morning you say, "Where are you?" Okay.
So like a assessment every day.
So, and throughout the day. So it's encouraging self-reflection.
Yeah.
It's encouraging self-love.
Understood.
And then to be able to speak where you are in a fun, playful way, I actually am in Red Dragon.
Yeah.
People go, okay.
Yeah.
And the reaction is not the same as going, right now, I just really don't feel like being with you because I'm thinking about other things. There's all of these things that we have that happen to our little emotional being. But for some reason, the cards make people go, okay, you're in Red Dragon. Okay. So the next card in the deck is actually a card. It's Purple Dragonfly. And I created Purple Dragonfly as a wild card.
Okay.
Now, what I didn't realize when I created it was that nobody was going to change the meaning from how we use it on the magic land.
Okay.
And this is a powerful card. We use it as I'd like a hug. Now, culturally around the world, everybody has a different sense of touch.
Yes.
Sometimes here in the United States, people are like, I want to hug you. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you really, I might not necessarily be in the space where I'm open for that. Or maybe I'm not open to give a hug because I'm tired.
UK and here hug is not very welcome easily.
So the only way Purple Dragonfly is met with a hug is if I were to say Purple Dragonfly.
Okay.
And you might say, I'm in Green Chicken, which would tell me you still want to be together and connect. But you're just not open for a hug.
Yeah.
And the idea is to learn to honor people's physical space, because that's something that has been for many of us who've been abused and had people in our space in ways that we did not want them. We have a lot of trauma around that.
Yes.
And so to learn to be able to say, it's okay to not have to hug you.
So basically, idea is to understand what you're feeling and to act according to those feelings in alignment of how exactly you feel at certain point of time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what self-love is.
Honoring self-love. I'm checking in, and then I can show up for you. If I say Purple Dragonfly, energetically, I'm all in.
But it
and
makes
so the
it
gift, the gift I give you in my return of Purple Dragonfly is huge. And that could impact your whole cellular system. It could heal something. We just know that that sense of alignment and love is powerful. And so I had a family that was using the system, and this woman was dating a man with 4 children. The 16-year-old son was normally in Red Dragon most of the time, like, I'm out of here, I don't want to be bothered. And she came to see them, and he came up and said, Purple Dragonfly. And she was like, oh, I can't believe this 16-year-old just asked me for a hug. He never would have said, I would like a hug, without having a system that gave him permission to ask. It was powerful. The next card in the deck is Blue Macaw. Okay. And Blue Macaw is talk time.
Okay.
So we all have things that we want to be able to connect in, and to be able to talk about, and to be able to work through. Because if there's something in the relationship that got a little fantangly, those are my words, so you can't find it in the dictionary. If it got a little fantangly and I needed to go in Red Dragon to process, wow, how did I show up in that? What got triggered? How am I not owning what I need to do to show up 100% in the relationship? Yeah. Then when I come out of that, Blue Macaw is the card I would do. I would say, I would like to do a Blue Macaw with you about what happened yesterday when we were at the grocery shopping or whatever. And I want to set a time. Is now a good time for you? Or when would be a good time to talk about it? Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been a woman in the past that if I had a problem, I was going to tell you about it right then. This is what's going on with me. Blah, 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 blah. And sometimes my beloved really wasn't in a space. They were thinking about work or something had happened and they left the hose running. We don't even know. But that sense of being able to check in and be mindful here again, it's self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's asking you to practice self-love. It's saying, what can I do for you to honor you and honor yourself always, at all times, under all circumstances. So the couples that I've coached with in this system, it's incredible to see where sometimes the woman is the one that tends to be the one that says, we have to talk. We can get a little bit, henpecky. And, the men are like, ooh, this is scary. I don't want to go there. Mm-hmm. And this system has given the man a voice that he normally didn't have, and given the women a sense of patience and centeredness to honor when he's actually ready to show up. Because when you guys are ready to show up, you're amazing.
Exactly.
We can be too.
Of course, yeah. Everybody, I believe, is amazing when they are its own best self.
Yeah. I mean, we're incredible people. And when we're wonky and out of alignment and we really just need a nap or 5 minutes to be quiet, and we need that red dragon time, and we're pushing and pushing and pushing, there's nothing to give. We don't have anything. But sometimes 5 minutes can renew our entire spirit and soul. So the last card in the deck is, I believe, one of the most powerful cards. Okay. And in my life coaching sessions, everyone that I've worked with has had something happen, somebody do something to them or say something to them that really impacted their life in a way that wasn't honoring.
Oh, I'm so excited. Open the Pandora box.
And when we own our own actions, we have done and said things that maybe weren't as loving or mindful as we really wanted to be in order to express love and be caring. And so this card I created, and it is the White Frog Redo card.
Okay.
And this is used for any time period. I have a son who's 26.
Okay.
I do white frogs with him all the time. Honey, oh my gosh, when you were 10 and this happened, I would so redo this. So this is how the White Frog card uses. I had a couple that were staying on the Magic Land. They were in this fantangle, we'll call it. They were in this fight together. She was upset. He was upset. And so she needed Red Dragon. They did their Red Dragon. And then I sat with them when they came together, because often they didn't know how to navigate when they had both been really charged. And it would just be ba, 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 ba. And then they'd end up in the same place, Red Dragon again. They wouldn't talk at all. There was no blue macaw. They didn't work it out. And so part of this system too, I grew up in a household where nobody talked.
Okay.
We never worked through anything. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever said, wow, what happened in there was really bad.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it as a family. Never, ever, ever.
Yep.
So this communication system has lots of tendrils of how it supports connection, self-care, self-love, mindfulness. Mm-hmm. So White Frog, so as this couple came together, I said, first of all, what we do is we set a blue macaw time. And we say, when is a good time to talk about what happened yesterday? So we're saying what it is we're talking about, as opposed to, well, I just want to talk to you about something. There's something that on my mind, I just want to talk to you. We freak out with that. So with a blue macaw, we're very specific. Same thing with a white frog.
Okay.
We say, I would like to do a white frog with you about what happened yesterday.
Okay.
So you can, the more specific you are, the more the other person can be prepared. Now, sometimes we're not ready for somebody to own their stuff because we're not even, we haven't processed it yet.
Yeah.
So people can say, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. So a white frog works like this. It is not unlike, and I don't know how it works in your culture, but here we were raised, say you're sorry. Oh no, you need to say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. You know, it's like, well, sometimes you don't really feel sorry. So you go, I'm sorry. So this card is not ever, you never say, well, I think you owe me a white frog because you should redo that. It's not used that way. It is completely when you check in with yourself and you're able to say, how could I have shown up differently? So I had a friend that was visiting and we were feeding the turtles and she had dropped off her son for camp and she was really feeling a lot of fear. And I got these box turtles and I'm like, yeah, And she's talking. I said, what are you afraid of, sweetheart? Yeah. And she said, oh, what if he doesn't brush his teeth? And I said, I don't think they're going to fall out in a week, you know. And she laughed and, you know, we went on. And then I thought later, I went, Laura Lynn, you were not very mindful of her. She needed your full presence. She needed you to just be there. So I said, sweetheart, can I do a white frog with you about how I handled the situation in the turtle pen? And she goes, what? Sure. She didn't even know what I was talking about. And I was just able to say, if I could redo it, I would redo it to really make sure that there was nothing else on my plate and then I could be there for you 100% because I love you and I care about you. And I didn't handle it the way I wanted to. And she was like, oh. I use this system when people check in on the magic land to the treehouse or the A-frame.
Okay.
And I had some guests that checked in. It was a dad that hadn't seen his son in 2 years.
Okay.
And he was coming to stay for 5 days.
Okay.
I explained the system and I asked the little boy, where are you right now? And he said, I'm green chicken. He was so excited to be with his dad. And I turned to the dad and I said, are you open to share where you are? And he said, I'm in White Frog. And I was like, I hadn't ever had anybody say they were in White Frog because normally they check in with green chicken, yellow turtle, red dragon. And he said, he looked at his son and he said, you know, when we were unloading the car? And his son said, yeah. He said, I got upset with you and I just wanted to say that I really love you and I'm sorry I did that. And this little boy's eyes just lit up. He hadn't seen his dad in 2 years. He just lit up and he went, oh, it's okay, Dad. You know, and that's how they started their vacation together. But without the cards, we might not have a way to do it, which is why they're funny little pictures drawn and, you know, they're not intimidating.
No, it's so beautiful and amazing what you have done with that. I really appreciate it. So is there any way that is it still more to do with this or that's what it is?
Well, what I've discovered is that people can take a system and go, oh, great, I got the cards, wonderful. And they really need some help implementing and they need some support. So what I'm working on right now is a course that could be even for the whole family. It could be individual, it could be, you know, an office, and to be able to come together to explain some examples of how you work this really moment by moment throughout the day. So I've got a friend who's single and he says, I use the Red Dragon system for myself
Okay.
all day long
Mhm.
to say, where am I right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though there's not anybody else around.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you have to have other people with you to do it.
Okay.
But yes, so additional training is coming because we need help. And most people
Yes.
aren't really taught how to communicate,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
is there a way people can get the access to this card and an understanding of what they are, and they can start learning it, and if they can approach you and ask you how to do this or and take help from you? Is there any way?
yeah, so I have a link that I had sent you that you can um, purchase the cards. The
Okay.
cards, I don't know how the conversion is,
Okay.
but the cards are 47 for the download.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you can print then as many as you need. So if you have 8 people in your family or whatever,
We'll
you
put the link
can.
in the below description, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So what you get, just to let people know, is that the back of the cards have exactly how to use the card, like
Okay.
what it means, the description, so there's no confusion.
Okay.
And when you get the download, there's two different, they come with instructions for how to do them.
Okay.
And then there's two different downloads. One of them has no grid lines, and
Okay.
that would be what you would use. I would imagine, do you have like the Avery Clean Edge business cards? Do
Not
you do
really.
those? Yeah.
No.
So you can buy these at like your office store
Okay.
and print them at home, or you can
Ah,
take them to
okay.
your local, we have FedEx and, UPS, and I don't know what you have there. Or there's one that actually has like little grid lines in between so
Okay.
that you could just print them on some cardstock and
Okay.
then cut them along the lines to
Okay.
line it up.
Okay.
And then on the cards, there's actually a little teeny tiny gray X. See
Okay.
the gray X?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you get them, you can take the cards and use a one. Do they have one hole punches in London? Are you in London?
Near London. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you can take a one hole punch and then punch a hole in the card to be able to bind them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I use like zip ties
Okay.
to do them, but you could also use like binder rings,
Yeah. Keychain.
something like, yeah, anything, or some string to put them together. But the idea is that everybody gets the cards. I wanted to say something too about the purple dragonfly card.
Mhm.
If you're using it in an office setting or a professional setting where it may not be appropriate to say, I'd like a hug,
Yeah.
you can also come up, that's why it's the wild card. You can come up with what that would mean in your culture, in your office,
Okay.
in your family,
Very
that
nice.
would be appropriate
Yeah. Yeah.
for you. So that gives you freedom for that.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
yes, in the download, they get that. And I will be setting up a Facebook group is
Okay.
what I'm going to do, so that people could join that group and then ask questions, and I can give them feedback. And I'm also going to be doing a training with it that'll be coming up too.
Oh, beautiful. So I will put the link of the group as well in the description,
Yes.
and
Yes.
where they can find you on the
Yes. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. No. My name is Lynne Dyer, and all my stuff is public. It's funny, as I'm actually an introvert. I do lots of red dragon time because that quiet time and me staying connected is really important to me. And I love people. I absolutely love people, and I love connecting with people. That's my other passion. And so they're kind of contrasting, it seems. But my Facebook page, I have several Facebook pages. I have my Lynne Dyer life coaching page that you'll find. And then when you click on that one, you'll see my Lynne Dyer personal page. Now, I'm almost to 5,000 friends. I'm like 4,990 something. So if you friend me, don't think I don't love you. Just follow me, and I will still be able to connect. Then I have the Magic Land, which is the 70-acre retreat. And then I have Treehouse on the Magic Land.
Wow.
So I have all 4 of those Facebook pages. I also have a website, themagicland.org, if people want to see more about what the Magic Land is. I have a YouTube channel, Laura Lynne Treehouse Wise Woman. So Instagram, Laura Lynne Dyer, or Laura Lynne Treehouse Wise Woman. So pretty much you won't have a hard time finding me.
No, I will put all the link in the description, definitely.
That's wonderful.
It's beautiful. Amazing to talk to you. One last question before you go. What's the impact you want to have?
What size web?
What's the impact you want to have?
My mission is that my Red Dragon system be worldwide. And in that creates a culture that's cross-cultural, regardless of, religion, race, space, country, wherever, where we're able to understand what we need and to speak that in a truthful manner with love and have that be honored. And then therefore that creates this huge sense of peace and alignment and self-love. So my mission is that my Red Dragon system be worldwide and that people learn some new ways to communicate that maybe don't know how.
Yeah, we need talking more than anything else now. People don't talk to each other, just in the phone all the time and computer and job. Yeah, that's beautiful. What you are doing is amazing. And thank you for coming to talk to me today. Pleased to talk.
Thank you. It's been such a huge delight. I so appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you very much. So take care and bye-bye. And
thank you.
I think we will
bye
meet sometime again.
Yes, that sounds great. Bye for now.